I'll start recording and I'm sharing. Yeah. So this is the place where we last time, right? So we discuss about now this is about database management systems, and so I told you we are going to learn how to uh, create a particular database, as well as what are the ways that we can like what is the components that we have to understand when we are doing a particular database design, right? So I told you to do that. We use the a tool called entity relationship diagram, right? So in short form, ER diagram. So in ER diagram, I told you there are several components that we have to recognize, right? So the first thing we talk about is the entities, right? So we get to know there are like strong and weak entities. So in between strong and weak entities, we have a weak relationship. So the weak relationship as well as the weak entities, we introduce them, or like we illustrate them with a double line, right? Then I told you, before I told you, the entities are the components uh, that can be a real world objects, like a person or a thing or an institute kind of things, right? So attributes are the components which describes the entity further, right? Or it's like characteristics of that particular entity, right? Then I told you the attributes are going to indicate using an oval shape, and according to the attribute type there are some differences in the oval shape that we are going to represent. So we talk about the composite attributes, where a particular attribute is further can be decomposed into more smaller attributes or more atomic attributes. And then multi-value attributes, we talk about like one particular attribute can have many different values. So it is called the multi-value attributes. And we talk about the complex attributes. So I told you complex attributes is a combination of a what we call the composite and the multi-value. Together will form a complex attribute. And then we talk about the derived and stored attribute, right? So derived attribute is the one which derived using the stored attributes, right? So we can take date of birth as the stored attribute, and using that we can derive the age of a particular student. So those are going to be considered as the stored and derived attributes. And then we talk about the special attribute called descriptive attribute, where we are going to like assign the attributes on a relationship, right? So I told you the relationship means the component that we illustrate in a diamond box. And why we are going to use a descriptive attribute is like when we are having an attribute which describes using both the entities or the entities which is connecting to each other. So we can't keep a particular attribute like into a like onto a one particular entity. So because of that, we just keep it on the relationship. So it will indicate it belongs to everyone, right? Or like everyone will be participate on dealing with that particular attribute. And I think we haven't get this down, right? මේක ලියාගත්තේ නෑ එහෙම නේද? Yes, someone can confirm that. Right, so let's take this down first, right? Then let's go to the relationship part, right? Okay, so I think we didn't write from the beginning, neither. Did we wrote about the entities? People, just confirm. Did we write about the entities?
Also a group කළ තියෙන්නේ මේ strong entity weak entity කියලා.
ඒකත් ලිව්වනේ. Attributes ගැන අපි ලිව්වනේ. Right. Okay, now start the attributes. හරි මම මේකේ තව පොඩි notes ටිකක් add කරනවා. ඒතර ඔයගොල්ලෝ ලියාගෙන යනකොට ඒක දාගන්න එතනට. Just a second. So this is the note that you are going to receive. Right, I'm moving up slowly. So if anyone missing anything, just let me know. Bye. Yeah, I'm scrolling up. If you're missing anything, just let me know. Okay, let me know when you're done, people. All right, one is done. And under the descriptive attribute, at this point as well, right, Charuk just connected, I think. Oh no, was he here? Right, others, let me know when you are done. Right, I'm waiting for you to finish. All right, two are done. How about others? Right, so it seems everyone is done. Is there anyone still writing this? Charuka, පුතේ දැන්ද කනෙක්ට් උනේ? අපි නෝට් එකේ කීපයක්ම පහළට ලියාගෙන ආවා. පොඩ්ඩක් වීඩියෝ එක බලලා එහෙමනොත් ඒක ලියා ගන්න. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් CR පිටු දෙකක් විතර දේවල් ලිව්වා මම හිතන්නේ. Right, so I'm going to move forward, and if there is anyone still who needs to keep this as it is, just let me know. Right. Okay, so after the relationships, I'm sorry, after the attributes, we are going to talk about the relationships now. All right. Now, we get to know about the attributes that we have, and meanwhile we get to know about the relationship as well. Now, in the descriptive attribute we are assigning the attribute onto a relationship, so it is indicated from the diamond shape, and you knew it from the very first point that we're talking about the strong and weak entities. We use a relationship and we call it a weak relationship. That is why it is been illustrated with double lines, right? So the third component is called the relationship, right? So when it comes to the relationships, like it indicates in the diamond box, right? And there are types of relationships, right? So it is indicated in a diamond shape, and here there will be a verb, right, inside this, that is according to the scenario that is given to you. So from the scenario you can grab the verbs. right? So the verbs can be is teaching, right? Is handling, right? Or handles. You can write in both the ways, right? Active or passive ways, right? So depend, what manage, like according to the scenario that it describes. Even have, has kind of things are there now. If it says a student has a desk, so has is going to be the relationship, right? So anyway, you are going to have a verb inside this, right? So it is always going to be a verb, right? And it indicates in the diamond shape. And so far we know the what we call the weak entity is indicated by double lines, and I'm sorry, yeah, weak entity is indicated by double lines, and the relationship which relates that weak entity is also considered as weak, so it is draw with double lines as well, right? So it's a weak relationship, right? So again, we can indicate this as a strong relationship. And if we indicate this in two lines, and is depending, so we can tell this as a weak relationship, right? So now relationship is the component which connects the entities with each other, right? So it is the component which connects entities with each other, right? And when you are connecting the entities, uh, there are several types of relationship types, or like there are several ways that an entity or entities can be connected through a relationship. So according to that, the relationships are being categorized as unary relationship, as binary relationship, and as ternary relationship. And when we are going to the advanced part of the relationships, we talk about n-nary relationships. That means like n number of things can be connected with the relationship, right? So let's first write about these, we call it the degree of the relationship. So we talk about the degree as well, right? So degree of a relationship, right? Now degree of a relationship, we can show it like this. First one is the unary relationship. Now it's like this. If you got a situation like this, an employee manages other employees, right? So if you think about the entities here, it's the employee is the only entity. Other employees again going to be an employee anyway, right? And the verb manages, right? So when we are asked to draw something like this, we are drawing it in this particular manner. So employee is the entity, manage is the relationship, and how it connects, the same entity is connect from both sides. So this is called the unary relationship, right? And the binary relationship is the most common relationship that we can find, right? So far we have witnessed the binary kind of relationship, right? So it is simple, right? You can say an employee works in a department, right? So it is easy. There are two types of nouns which are going to be entities, and there is one type of verb which is works in, right? So we can say employee in one side and works in is going to be the relationship, department is the other entity. So it connects like this, right? So employee works in department. That's the binary relationship. So ternary, now that's a little tricky one. It's like so far you have given the ternary relationship in only one particular exam question, which was the most controversial question in the exam history, right? ඒකට පස්සේ මාකින් ස්කීම් එකක් අලුතෙන්ම ලියන්න උනා, right? So anyway, the third one is the ternary. Right now, we can take a situation like this. I'm writing this from one of your exam questions, right? You will find it when you are doing the past papers, right? Pharmacist. Right now here, what you can see is there are three nouns in the single sentence: pharmacist, drugs, patient, right? So what we can do is like, so what we can see is give is the only verb that we can see. To the is like a type of connecting the things, right? So this, of course, we can draw it like pharmacist over here, right? Drug over here, patient over here. And the relationship is give. It should be gives neither. Right, so the connection comes like this, right? So this is what we call ternary relationship. And there is something called n-nary relationship, and it is not there in the syllabus, but it's better you know. Right, so this n-nary relationship is like, we can only like give an illustration regarding this, that's all, right? So like you are connecting like from the first entity, or like it is entity 1, this is entity 2, likewise it goes up to entity n. Right, so these are the 4 degrees that we can talk about, right? Okay, Terunada, let me have the confirmation. Right, great. Yeah, Jinani, exactly. Number of entities which is connected with the relationship is going to define what is the degree of the relationship. And remember, the degree will be taught regarding the relationship as well as the relation, which means a table. When it comes to the table, it differs, right? So here, when it comes to the degree, it's the number of entities which connects with the relationship, right? Okay, so copy it down, people. Relationships. People, I will be right back. You just copy the things.
සර් පොඩ්ඩකට උඩට කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? හරි සර්. සර් දැන් හරි පහළ. සර්
ඔබදේ
සර් එතකොට ඩයග්‍රෑම් ටික මේ අඳින්න දෙන්න අපිට නැත්තම් කොයි විදියට දාන්නේ?
අඳින්න දෙන්නේ. ඕගලන්ට කියන්නේ දැන් අපි තව ටිකකින් ප්‍රශ්නයක් කරනවා. තව පොඩි පාඩ් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ පොඩි සිද්ධියක් දීලා ඒ සිද්ධියට අදාළව ඩයග්‍රෑම් එක අඳින්න කියනවා.
ඉතින් සර් රිලේෂන්ෂිප් එක අපි හිතා ගන්න ඕනද කොහොමද?
නෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් අපි අර මෙතන මේ වාක්‍ය වලින් අපි අල්ලගත්තා වගේ. දැන් මෙතන an employee managers other employees කියලා තියෙනකොට ඒ මොකක් හරි වාක්‍යයක්. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි වාක්‍ය තමයි ඔක කඩා ගන්න පුරුදු වෙන්නේ. ඒතරේ වාක්‍යයක කියන්නේ ක්‍රියාපදයකින් කනෙක්ට් වෙලා තියෙන නාමපද ටික තමයි entities කියලා අපි හඳුනගන්නේ. ඒතර ක්‍රියාපදය තමයි අපි රිලේෂන්ෂිප් එක කියලා හඳුනගන්නේ. ඒතර රිලේෂන්ෂිප් එකට ක්‍රියාපදය දානවා. නාමපද ටික මේ විදිහට entities ඇතුලේ කනෙක්ට් කරනවා.
හරි සර්.
right
relationship මොකද්ද?
මොකද පුතේ?
n dash
n nary NARY කියලා තියෙන එක. n nary.
සර් ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් ආවිස්තර කරනවද nary කියන එක?
nary කියන එක පුතේ අපි concept එකක් විදිහට කතා කරන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ relationship එකකට ඕන තරම් entities connect කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. කියන්නේ අපි ඔය unary, binary, ternary කියලා කතා කරන්නේ එක්කෙනෙක් දෙන්නෙක් සහ තුනක්නේ. තුනකට වඩා වැඩි ගණනක් කියන්නේ n ගණනක්. n ගණන කියන්නේ කැමැති ගණනක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. 4 වෙන්න පුළුවන්, 5 වෙන්න පුළුවන්, 6 වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ සෙට් එක අපි nary relationship කියලා කතා බහ කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක නිකන් ඔය concept එකක් විදිහට දැනගන්න ඕනේ. relationship එකකට කැමැති තරමක් entities සම්බන්ධ කරන්න පුළුවන් කියන. clear? හරි? right. Right. One is done. How about others? Is everyone done? Okay. So is there anyone still writing this? Right. So I'm moving to the next part. Right. So now next thing is about the cardinality of a relationship. Now here we are talking about the degree of the relationship. So the next one is about the cardinality of the relationship, which is a very important one, because like normally when they ask you to draw a particular ER diagram, what the marking scheme expect you to draw is the correct entities, the relationships, and show how they are get connected with the entities, and the cardinality of the relationship, right? So there are 3 types of cardinality, which we call one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. Now, cardinality describes through the relationship with one particular entity, how many of other entities are going to be connected, right? So we can argue it both the side of the entity, so which we are going to talk about, right? We are talking this regarding a binary relationship, and we can later apply it to the unary and a ternary one, right? So this is called the cardinality of the relationship, right? Right. So I'll take three types of examples to do this, right? And before that, it's better you write what is cardinality ratio is, right? Or like the cardinality is, we say number of occurrence, right? So we call this cardinality of a relationship, or like cardinality ratio as well, right? Cardinality ratio, right? So there are three types, right? So the first type is one-to-one relationship. So we indicate it like this. Right. So one-to-one relationship means, now in the scenario, or in a way we are going to describe it, we are going to describing the relationship in this particular manner. Always remember, when we are describing the relationship, or when we are describing the cardinality ratio, there is a certain pattern that we have to describe a particular scenario. The reason is, in the examination, sometimes you are given a particular relationship, then ask you to justify it. Justify means like you have to describe the cardinality. Or other way around is given. They have described the cardinality and ask you to draw the relationship. So you need to know how you are going to take the final cardinality by reading the given particular scenario, right? So I'll write the particular scenario as well as I'll draw it, so you know what to be done when one of the scenario is given, right? So the scenario can be described like this, right? I'm taking the relationship in between teacher and the student for all three examples, right? So in one case, we can say one student is taught by only one teacher, and one teacher is teaching to only one student. Now, just concentrate on what they have said, right? They are describing the relationship between the teacher and the student in both the ways, from teacher to student and from student to teacher, right? So in this scenario, you got only two entities, right? So what are the two entities? There are two types of entities, which is the student and the teacher, right? In anywhere, we can find those two. And the relationship is going to be is taught by or is teaching, right? One of those we can consider, right? So based on that, I can draw the relationship like this. So this is student, then is teaching is going to be considered as the relationship, and this is teaching, right? Otanta is taught by Anna Kulum, right? So now we have to put the cardinalities right over here and here. Then one to one now. I'll make a dane. I'm going to indicate it like this, one to one. We are not going to circle it, right? I'm just showing you the positions, right? So to have this as one to one, we have to assure whether it is one to one. Can I be final cardinality? That is why we have to find something like I described here. One student is taught by only one teacher and one teacher is teaching to only one student. So it is like starting from both the ends, considering the singular part of those. අපි ඕනම cardinality එකක one to one to many to many ඔය ඕනම එකක ඔගොල්ලෝ හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න මේ start එක ගන්නෙ one කියන වචනේ. right? Relationship එක දෙපැත්තට describe කරන්න ඕනේ one කියන වචනෙන් පටන් අරගෙන. One student is taught by how many teachers? That is what you need to consider. And one teacher is teaching to how many students? That is what you're going to consider. So according to this scenario, according to the given scenario, if we consider that one student is taught by only one teacher, that is when we are reading this relationship from student to teacher, right? And again, the next line says one teacher is teaching to only one student, right? That is when we are reading from teacher to student, right? ඔය කරපු ටික පැහැදිලිද? Scenario එක දුන්නම we have to recognize, we have to argue how it happens as the scenario describes. Right? Okay, how about others? Is this clear? තාම වැඩේ ඉවර නෑ. Yes, others? What's happened to you? Okay. Right, okay. Now what we are going to do is we consider this side and choose the biggest number from a particular side. Choose the biggest. So it is going to be the final cardinality of the relationship. මන්ද මේ රතු පාටින් ඇඳලා තියෙන ටික ඕගලන්ගේ rough work එකක්. Right? ඔක penciling කරලා පස්සේ මකලා දාන්න තියෙන්නේ. But this green color 1 to 1 is a permanent one. That's a part of the answer. Right? So what you are going to do is you are arguing the relationship to both the sides, and then you choose the biggest number from the arguments or the results that you are going to take. Right? So then we can say this is 1-to-1 relationship. Clear? Yes, everyone? All right. Okay, let me copy this to the next part so it will be easier for me, not for you. Now the next one is called one-to-many. So it will be easier for me to change it over here. It's better I use it for many-to-many as well. Yeah. So this is called one-to-many. So we indicate it like 1-to-m. Right, a simple m. And when in this particular one, the scenario comes like one student is taught by only one teacher, goes like that, and one teacher is teaching. Here it's going to differ. Many students. Right? So still we got the same type of entities, teacher and student, and same type of relationship, the name. But look at the argument. Look at the argument. Namai tapparයක් ඉන්න. Right, okay. All right, now if you think about the statements given here, what would be the argument? One student is taught by only one teacher. That is how you are reading it from left to right. And what about the teacher's part? One teacher is teaching to many students. Right? So, you know the drill. We consider both the numbers over here and we choose the bigger one, which is m. And we consider both the numbers here, both are 1, so we consider the bigger one, that is 1, obviously. So then we can say this is a relationship of 1-to-many, right? So there is no rule that many is going to come to the left side and 1 is going to come to the right side. That can be shifted according to the scenario that is provided. තේරුණාද? ඕක තමයි second scenario එක. Okay. How about the others? Yes, people? How about the others? Is it okay? Right, okay. Only 2 has confirmed me so far. What about the others? අනිත් අය සෙෂන් එකේ ඉන්නව නේද? ඔව් ඉන්නවා මට පේනවා. තේරුණා කියන නැත්තම්
හරිද දැන්?
right, okay, right, okay. All right, so this is the second way. And the third one is talking about many to many. So there is a speciality of writing this, people. So it indicates M to N. M කියලා දෙකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ අපි. M to N, many to many. කැමැති පැත්තකට M දානවා, කැමැති පැත්තකට N දානවා. Right? So both are indicating many. Right? And here the explanation of the scenario is also different. Right? So it should change like this. One student is taught by many teachers, right? Like your school situation. And one teacher is teaching to many students. Then මේ මම ලියන විදිහ නිතරම මේ විදිහටම ඕගලන්ට සිනාරියෝස් වල හොයාගන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ එක එක hints දීලා තිනවා එක එක වෙලාවට. So you should be clever to capture that, right? නොතේරෙන විදිහට නෙවෙයි කියලා තියෙන්නේ. Right? You have to read it carefully. So in the very same way, we can find the same entities, which is the teacher and the student. So entity is going to be the same, right? And when it comes to the cardinalities, we have to see how it happens, right? So it explains one student is taught by many teachers according to the scenario, and one teacher is teaching to many students according to the scenario. So we know what to be done. So here we choose M as the bigger one. So here it is M is the bigger one, but we are not going to put M. Instead of that, we are going to put N, which indicates many to many. Okay, is this clear? Everyone? Okay.
So okay, scenarios එක අපි ලියන්න ඕනද නැත්නම් දෙනවද?
Oh, in right? Now in the examination, sometimes you will be given the scenario and asked to draw the diagram, right? එහෙම වුණොත් diagram එකේ අදාළ විදිහට cardinality plot කරන්න ඕනේ. scenario එක දීලා නම් තියෙන්නේ diagram එක අඳින්න ඕගලන්ට තියෙන්නේ. So you have to draw the diagram and plot the cardinalities. Sometimes they are giving us the diagram, right? That means student is teaching teacher many to many දාලා දෙනවා, right? ඒ කියන්නේ මේ කොටස විතරක් නොය ටික විතරක් දෙනවා. දීලා කියනවා there are famous questions that they are asking. What is the cardinality of this relationship? So first you have to answer many to many. Then as a second question they ask, justify it. So to justify it, you have to write these two sentences. That's all. Right? විදි දෙකයි අහන්නේ. සිනාරියෝ එක දීලා ඩයග්‍රෑම් එක අඳින්න කියනවා. එතකොට මතක ඇතුව කාඩ්නැලිටි දාන්න මතක තියාගන්න. ඩයග්‍රෑම් එක දීලා සිනාරියෝ එක ලියන්න කියනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ජස්ටිෆයි කරන්න කියනවා එතනදී. ඩයග්‍රෑම් එක දීලා ජස්ටිෆයි කරන්න කියනවා. So justifying means write in the scenario. Right? So you should know what is the way that we are going to write it. Right? Then මේක මේ මීනින් එක එන්න ඕගල්ලන්ට ගැලපෙන විදිහකට විස්තර කරන්න. ඒක මට තේරෙන පමණින් සරලම විදිහට තමයි ලියන්න තියෙන්නේ. Right? Okay, so let's copy this down. Right? So cardinality of relationship, cardinality ratio. So here it is. Okay, start copying people.
සර්
ඔබදේ
සර් එතකොට මේකේ මේ verb එක ගද්දී අපි ගන්න ඕනේ මේ කොහොමද ඒක හොයාගන්නේ? එතකොට දැන් උඩ තියෙනවනේ is taught කියලා තියෙනවනේ.
කමක් නැහැ කැමති එකක් දාන්න පුළුවන් is teaching දාන්නත් පුළුවන් is taught දාන්නත්
one
පුළුවන්
student එතකොට one student එකක is taught teacher එහෙම වෙන් කරනවා.
මට තේරුණා
ඉතින් අර ඔය ඩයග්‍රෑම් එක අදිද්දී
ඔව්
එතකොට
මේ ඩයමන්ඩ් ෂේප් එක ඇතුලේ is taught එච්චරයි ස්ටුඩන්ට්
හරි සර්.
ටීචර් ඒ විදිහමයි is taught
හරි
කියන එක ඩයමන්ඩ් ෂේප් එක ඇතුලේ ඔව්
හරි. සර්
ඔව් නිර්මාණ
සර් එතකොට ඩයග්‍රෑම් එකේ දීලා තියෙන්නේ ස්ටුඩන්ට් ටීචර් කියලානේ. ඒක ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස් එන්න ඕනේ නැද්ද? එතකොට මෙනි දාලා තියෙන තැන.
නෑ හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න ER diagram වල entity name එක singular කොයි වෙලාවෙ බලුවත් singular ඒක scenario එකේ බහුතරයක් ඉන්න පුළුවන් but අපි entity relationship diagram එකේ නිතරම ගන්නෙ ඒක වචනේ singular format එක.
ඒ කියන්නේ සර් plural එන්නෙම නෑ නේද?
plural එන්නෙම නෑ මොන විදිහට plural ආවොත් වැරදි.
හරි සර්.
right Let me know once you are done, people.
So okay, ideal shape එක diamond එකමද වෙන්න ඕනේ? Sir?
නිර්මාණ sorry මම mic එක off කරගෙන වාට කියනවා. නිර්මාණ diamond විය යුතුයි. කියන්නේ මම වගේ කියන්නේ මම මගේ diamond එක පොඩ්ඩක් ඇද වෙලා තියෙනවනේ. ඒ ගන්නට යන්න එපා. diamond shape එක maintain කරන්න. මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ symbols වල හරියට බලනවා. වැඩේ සිද්ධ වෙනවද කියන එක. Right. Okay. All right. ළමයි තප්පරයක් ඉන්න. Right. So now what we have to do is, with the knowledge that we have gained, we are going to draw a simple ER diagram, right? I'm going to show you the question, and I'm going to put the question to the WhatsApp. Like the only thing, කොබලු මට එක දාන්න පුළුවන් මම හිතන්නේ මට මතක විදිහට separate file එකක් තිබුණා මං ගාව. Hold on. Yes. So I'm sending this PDF, right, to the group. So you have to do only first question, right? It has the SQL questions as well, right? You don't need to bother about it for the moment, right? Right, I'll display the question on the screen as well, right? Now when you are drawing this, remember you can't duplicate the entities, right? එතකොට අපි entity relationship diagram එක අඳින්න ගන්නකොට ඒක මේක බොහොම සරල එකක් මේ දීලා තියෙන්නේ, right? The entities ටික දීලා තියෙනවා, attributes දීලා තියෙනවා, right? So you have to figure out what it is. You can't answer the second question, which is about the schema. Schema එක කියලා දෙන්නේ මේක ඇඳම මේකෙන්ම තමයි කොහොමද කරන්න කියන එක, right? So you have to you try to draw a simple diagram. Now when you are drawing it, remember like it's better you maintain your page, like draw the entities at the corners of your page, right? Then you can like create the relationship easily, right? Like this, according to the scenario, right? As well as you can put the attributes according to the scenario, right? And people, regarding the attribute list, I need you to tell, like I missed one particular thing, which is called the key attribute. ඒකත් ඔයගලගේ attributes ඇඳපු තැන පොඩ්ඩක් define කරගන්න, right? I'll write it over here, right? Key attribute කියන එක මට ඒක miss වුණා, right? So key attribute is nothing. It is an attribute which we can choose to identify an instance of an entity, right? Uniquely. Again, අපි ඕක දැන් ඔයගලන්ට ඉස්කෝලේදී ඔයගලන්ට තියෙනවානේ ඉන්ඩෙක්ස් නම්බර් එකක්. ඒකට ඔයගලන්ගේ ER diagram එකක ඉන්ඩෙක්ස් නම්බර් එක කියන එක key attribute එක වෙනවා. හේතුව තමයි ඉන්ඩෙක්ස් නම්බර් එකෙන් තමයි ස්ටුඩන්ට් කෙනෙක්ව uniquely අඳුනගන්නේ. Right? So key attribute, we can say the attribute that can use to identify an instance of an entity uniquely, right? So when you are drawing the key attribute, let's say it is student and there is admission number, so that has to be underlined, right? That is how we are going to indicate the key attribute. Right? Have this onto your diagram paper, not the diagram, to the note, the place where we have written about the attributes.
සර් PDF එකේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න කරන්න ඕනද?
ඔව් ඒක කරන්න මේක ලියාගෙන.
සර් ඒකේ යටින් diagrams කොටක් දාලා තිබ්බේ මේ
diagrams කොටක් කියපුදේ මේ
වගු
නෑ නෑ ඒක SQL පැත්තට උමනා එකක්. පළවෙනි page එකේ තියෙන එක විතරයි. පළවෙනි page එකේ තියෙන. Right. So if you are done with this, try the question. Now it is almost 6:27, so we may not have much time to finish a lesson, like it's only 3 minutes. So you try the question, the very first question only, right? පළවෙනි එක විතරයි. මේක තමයි පළවෙනිම question එක. ඒකෙත් පළවෙනි part එක draw an ER diagram කියන එක මේ scenario එකට අදාළව. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේක කියවනකොට ඔයගලන්ට හම්බෙයි entities like student, teacher, class, desk කියලා හම්බෙයි, right? So ඒවට අදාළව key attributes එහෙම මේ first paragraph එකේ මේ අන්තිමට indicate කරලා තියෙනවා. මේ ඉතිරි paragraph දෙකේ ඔයගලන්ට attributes අඳුන ගන්න hints ටික දීලා තියෙනවා, cardinality අඳුන ගන්න hints ටික දීලා තියෙනවා. So read it carefully. ඔයගලන්ට ER diagram එකක් අඳිනකොට question එක 4-5 වතාවක් කියවන්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්, like the DFT, right? ඒ කරලා හරියට plan කරගන්න. Like I said, when we are drawing it, you can't duplicate the entities, right? Student ඇන්දොත් student එක තැනක විතරයි, right? class එක ඇන්දොත් class එක තැනක විතරයි. ඊට පස්සේ අපි relationship වලින් ඒගොල්ලන්ව manage කරන්න ඕනේ, right? ඒ වගේම මේ relationships cross කරන්න එපා. cross කරන්න cross කරලා ඇඳෙන්නේ නැහැ සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. cross කරන තැනකට ආවොත් කොහොමද මේ වටෙන් ගෙනල්ලා connect කරන්න ඕනේ, right? So key attributes underline කරන්න මතක තියාගන්න, right? ඒතර හැම entity එකකටම key attribute එකක් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් එනවා. question එකේ ඔයගලන්ට key attribute එක දීලා නැත්නම් you have to define your own key attribute and underline it, and then you have to write the assumptions. Now assumptions is something very important when you are like drawing an ER diagram, right? මොකද exam questions කරන්නාම ඔයගලන්ට තේරෙයි they are not giving you all the information that you need, so there are some places you have to assume, right? So those assumptions should be written, right? But so far the assumptions are not given any marks, but there will be a huge chance to consider about them, right? So read the question clearly, right? ගෙදරදී time එක අරගෙන try කරලා බලන්න. Next week I'm starting the class by drawing that ER diagram, right? Okay,
පොඩ බෝඩ් එකට දාන්න.
මොකදද?
අයිසාර ඩයග්‍රෑම් එක පොඩ්ඩක්
Note.
දාන්න කියලා.
Right. Okay, so people, if you are done with this, just you can disconnect.
අයිසාර අපිට key attribute කියන එක ඒක
Key
විතරයි
attribute කියන එක නේද?
ඔව්.
Oh, මෙතන තියෙනවා, right? People who have done with this, you can go, right? Others just finish writing it and you can disconnect, right? Okay, thank you very much, Jinani. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice day. I'm keeping the screen. You can copy it. Doesn't matter. Right, Lalindi. Thank you and good night. Right, Minidi. Thank you very much.
Thank you sir, good night sir.
Right, okay. Nirmana, thank you.